Hi students, in this class I am explaining about the frictional force. What is frictional force is, it is the force which opposes the motion of object. That means it works opposite to the motion of object. This force work opposite to the motion of object. For this frictional force, today I will give the example for that frictional force, and also I will explain how to measure that frictional force. First I will go for the example for the frictional force. To show the example for you, I made inclined plane. Here, this is the inclined plane on the rough surface containing pad. For that, to prepare that, what I did is, first I took the rough surface pad, and on that I kept a bundle of books, and on that I kept another book which is in slanting position to that bundle of books. For this experiment I took a pencil, and what I did is, what I am doing is, I make to move down this pencil from this slanting position. After that I mark down up to how much distance this pencil was travelled, like this. I make to move down. So up to how much distance that this pencil is travelled? Up to here it is travelled. The same experiment I repeating with the smooth cloth. This is the smooth cloth which I kept under the inclined plane. Now again this experiment I am repeating, that I move down this pencil which is on the smooth cloth surface. Then I observe how much distance that it is travelled, and I mark down. Up to this distance it was travelled. These are two experiments that I did. First I did on the rough surface containing pad, and on the smooth surface containing cloth. Right. By observing these two experiments, what we understand, that the pencil travelled on the rough surface is less distance than the smooth surface containing cloth. Why? Now the question was, why on the rough surface the pencil travelled less distance? This is because of the presence of frictional force on the rough surface containing pad. This frictional force, how it generate? Now another question. This generate due to the irregularities between the rough surface containing pad and the rough surface pencil. Because of this irregularities, the frictional force is generated. Because of this frictional force, the movement of the pencil slow down. That means the distance travelled by the pencil on the rough surface is less when compared to the smooth surface. Right, what we understand by this experiment, that on the rough surface the frictional force is more. That's why the distance travelled by the pencil is less. Right, this is about the example. Now I will explain how we measure this frictional force. By using the spring balance, we measure this frictional force. First, I will say the working of this spring balance. So here, if you see, this spring balance consists a spring. If we keep any weight, or if we apply any force at the end of the spring balance, then this spring is stretched. By that stretching, we find out the reading on the spring balance. That reading gives that how much force we applied on the spring balance. This is about the working of spring balance. Now I will explain how we measure the frictional force by using this spring balance. For that, I am taking a brick on the ground. And brick means you know about the bricks which used to build the buildings. That brick I took, which is present on the ground. And I tie this brick with the strong thread. And I attached this thread to the spring balance. Now my work is to move this brick by applying the force on the spring balance. Now readings will become on the spring balance. That readings show that how much force that we apply. The force applied is similar to the frictional force. That means the force applied to move the brick here is similar to the frictional force. By that we can say that if the force applied to move is less, then the frictional force is less. If the force applied is more, then the frictional force is more. Like that we find out the frictional force on the rough surfaces and on the smooth surfaces. This is about how to measure this frictional force. If you understand, please like and subscribe my channel.